In the background, well, I'm gonna be in the woods. You know it's good. It's Stevodidit. No other. Nobody can. Slime ball. 11 on Twitch. Go check me out. Yes, but yeah, we about to do a reaction video to these allegations going against. You feel me? These young. You feel me? So shout out Rap News Street Politics first off. You feel me? Because I be watching bro videos. So shout bro shit out. All this is just, you feel me? He said, she said, from what I know, this is my first little reaction to it. So I'm gonna get y'all they news, not my news, but I'm gonna share with you and react to it. Okay. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on?
Oh, big. Listen, Adam. I'm finna walk out the door. I'm not talking about no fucking murder.
Wait, I just want to hear. Let's hear what 600 says. So you think that he's a federal informant?
I think he's definitely working.
Talking about murder cases, crazy.
Rap News Street Politics, the best hood channel on YouTube, and we back with that Rolling 6 indictment, about to go through all the other co-conspirators that went down along with Big U in Operation Drawdown. Now, for everybody that's seen our last video, you know, we touched on certain individuals that were all on the indictment together. When the feds released this picture of everybody that was in custody in this operation, from the outside looking in, it looks like everybody went down for the same thing, and that's not the case. Multiple individuals that went down on the case were a part of that initial indictment with the RICO on it. But as we talked about, the Rolling 60s as a whole were already under investigation in 2020 before really put their eyes on Big U. So there's multiple different indictments that went along with this situation. And this is why Brick Baby, who was mentioned on the wiretap in Big U's indictment, wasn't named as a defendant in that indictment because the feds had bigger plans for him and one of his homies. Now, again, in Big U's indictment on the wiretaps, Brick Baby was caught talking about a robbery and paying money to Big U. But a situation that we heard before that WAC 100 had brought up was a situation where Brick Baby had caught a federal case with some firearms.
It's one thing to have a possession of a firearm. AKs are illegal in the state of California. They're not DA rejecting that. But what I'm telling you is it was never picked up by the state. The feds are holding it. He knew it. Only thing I'm doing is going over what he's saying.
So you think that he's a federal informant?
I think he's definitely working.
There was questions looming and allegations circling regarding his cooperation and why he never had a court date or really had to answer for them firearm charges. This is why he's in custody now. So this incident with Brick Baby stems back all the way to 2022 on July 12th. And we see the indictment alleging that he was a felon in possession of firearms and ammunition. So Brick Baby, real name Zaire Mitchell, also goes by Big Shitty, MPA Shitrow, Shitty Montana, or Brick Baby Shitrow, as he was introduced when he hit the rap scene over 10 years ago. But the indictment is alleging that on July 12, 2022, he was in possession of a 9mm Luger. And it's alleged that he was shooting a gun in a business parking lot somewhere in LA County. Now, federal investigators allege that this affected interstate and foreign commerce. So to break down how they tie that together, when you're a felon in possession of a weapon, we already know the feds are getting involved. The reason being is because they use the manufacturing location of that weapon against you. So say in this case, Brick Baby is in LA County in possession of a weapon. Strike one is being a felon in possession of a weapon. But if that gun is manufactured and or purchased in a different state, they're basically going to charge you with moving that gun over state lines, therefore affecting interstate commerce or foreign commerce if the weapon was produced in another country. Like I said, the feds are playing a different game. This is how we see somebody that's already a felon go down for gun case, go to state prison, And on the back end of his state prison sentence, the feds pick the case up, and then they go serve time in the feds as well. By the time the feds do their homework on where that weapon came from compared to where you got caught with the weapon, they let you do that state time and then bring you to do their time. Now, Brick Baby, his prior convictions of reckless evading in 2010, possession of a controlled substance in 2012, 2 counts of possession of controlled substances, one in 2012, one in 2014, criminal threats in 2016, and a robbery in 2020. This is what made him guilty in possession of these weapons. Now, again, that's count 1 on his indictment. Count 2 are the weapons themselves. Knowingly possessing firearms and ammunition, again, each affecting interstate and or foreign commerce. This is where they allege that on June 23rd, 2023, a year after the shooting that he did in a parking lot, he was caught in possession of 3 weapons, a .380, a 9, and a Hell Pup 5.56. So Brick Baby had that shit on him. But not only are they going to charge him with the weapons, they're going to charge him with the 133 rounds of ammunition that he also carried along with the guns. But the key thing that's going on with Brick Baby right now is that they're linking him with another co-defendant that went down on Operation Drawdown, Christian Forbes, aka Bus, another member from Rolling 60s. So the reason that Brick Baby and Bus are merging together is because the feds allege that the cases rise out of the same conspiracy, common scheme, transaction, or series of transactions and events. And they stated that both cases charge firearm offenses arising from the same investigation into the neighborhood Rolling 60s, which both of these defendants are from. And it said that both indictments rely on evidence that ultimately led to a Title III wiretap in a separate case on several Rolling 60 telephones, including Zaire Mitchell, Brick Baby. And they stated that both defendants on the same date as part of the Rolling 60s takedown, and the common discovery will be produced in the cases. And this is what leads us to Christian Forbes, who seemingly is the big fish when it comes to the weapons in this indictment, because the feds are alleging that he engaged in the business of dealing firearms without a license. So they're linking Bus's firearm transportations with Brick Baby's firearm acquisitions. And this is how they prove the interstate and foreign commerce is being played. They have the man that's bringing the weapons from wherever, out of state, and they have Brick Baby receiving weapons. But it said in terms of Bus, beginning on or before January 5th, 2022, and rolling to March 23rd, 2022, who was not licensed as an importer, manufacturer, or dealer of firearms, willfully engaged in the business of dealing in firearms, specifically to sell. And they have a list and the dates of the firearms that he allegedly sold: a Smith & Wesson M&P 45, a Bersa 380, a Ghost assault rifle, and a Taurus 9mm. Now, usually what this looks like is he sold these guns to somebody that's cooperating with the feds. None of these weapons match the serial numbers of the weapons Brick Baby got caught with. So we can take him out of the equation of being the one that told on Bus. Because as the feds like to do, they love to make controlled buys. And the breakdown of these firearms are a little bit too clean. January 5th, January 12th, February 2nd, and March 10th are documented dates that he sold these firearms to an informant. And again, both of these indictments rely on evidence that ultimately led to an expansion of wiretaps against the Rolling 60s. Now, the feds also allege that both of these dudes have a serious risk that they might flee if they're let out of custody. We saw Trap Kitchen Monty already out, and there's another person a part of this indictment that we're going to touch on that's already out. But there was a request made for pretrial detention due to the safety of regular members in the community being at risk, because these crimes are considered violent crimes. So we may not see Brick Baby for some time if he doesn't beat this case. Now, as the feds usually go, we've seen the wiretaps with Brick Baby. There's always some confidential informants and some people working with the police when you selling something. So this takes us to the next 2 defendants that went down in Operation Drawdown: Derek Andre Pollard, aka Grimsky, and Zachary Rodriguez Garcia, aka Zeke. Both of these 2 dudes are on an indictment together. accused of participating in a conspiracy to distribute meth, another count of distribution of meth, and possession with intent to distribute fentanyl, methamphetamine, and MDMA, another count of possessing a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime, and lastly, being a felon in possession of a firearm. So what we see here, everybody on this indictment is either members of Neighborhood Rolling 60 or criminal associates of the 60s. That's what the feds is gonna call it. And everybody is seemingly moving on their own program, doing things at different times. But since they all a member of the 60s organization, there was communication linking all 19 of these individuals that we see went down on this case. So in Grimsky and Z's situation, it started with them back in 2020, around September 2nd, and allegedly it continued until February 24, 2021 in Riverside County. Now, on this day, when they became subjects of the federal investigation, September 2nd, it said that Pollard spoke to an individual who he believed was trying to buy some work. It said that Pollard is the one that usually negotiates the sale, and Garcia is the one that goes and drops the work off and kind of builds a rapport with the customer. But with Pollard being on the phone, negotiating this deal with this alleged customer, it's not known to them. This is a confidential informant discussing the sale of a pound of meth for $2,700. So Pollard instructed the confidential informant to meet with Garcia at a predetermined location in Riverside, California. Now, when they met later on that night, Garcia offers the CI 10 pounds of meth at a discounted price, knocking $200 off each piece and saying he can slang it to him for $2,500 if he get 10. But he also offered other types of drugs and firearms that he could sell this confidential informant. Now, I don't know if he knew this dude before, if he dealt with him. It don't seem like it, but that's crazy. And this is the work of some young, unexperienced members. So he went on to sell the confidential informant what he claimed to be a pound of meth, but instead was 44 grams of the methyl sulfone for $2,700. Now he ended up whooping the buyer, sold him some bunk for $2,700, but that seemingly doesn't even matter to the feds, man, that it wasn't even a controlled substance. Now, after Garcia gave him that work, Pollard tries to shake the confidential informant down for $100 for brokering the sale. And of course, he met with the confidential informant and got his little $100. So they sold dude some bunk and then took $100 for brokering the deal on top of that. They was playing some shady games. But about 2 weeks later, September 17th, Pollard's back on his phone talking to another confidential informant, discussing another sale of a pound of meth, negotiating another $2,700 price and a $100 middleman fee. This time, Pollard is the one that met with the CI, and they sell him some bunk again, 446 grams, and a short of the methyl sulfone. So the feds, after this, they kick back and they cool on these dudes for 3 months. They circle back around December 15th, 2020, hit him up again for another pound. Pollard talking on the phone again, but using quote unquote coded language. They negotiate a price, and this time Garcia meets with the confidential informant and gives him a short P, 438 grams of pure methamphetamine for $3,000 this time. That third time was a charm. Now, in between that 3-month cool down period, on October 14th, 2020, again, still in Riverside County, Grimsky is said to have knowingly possessed a Glock 40. He was already a felon, so now he's a felon in possession of a firearm. That's where that count comes from that was alleged at the top of the indictment. It said that in Arizona, he had a solicitation to commit forgery back in 2018. Now, the indictment doesn't necessarily say how they know he got caught with it, but we know Grimsky been on the phone this whole time. And we know that wiretap has been popping. Now, a couple months after they made that final sale of actual meth to the CI, it said that in February 2021, they were in possession of a key of fentanyl. And they also had another 189 grams of meth and some MDMA with them as well. Now, the key thing is with this indictment kind of being bland, this is how confidential informants and snitches fill in the blanks. When they're not necessarily saying they were stopped with this work, they got caught with it, they was arrested with it, either they was talking on these wiretaps, saying how much work they got, or somebody's telling. And this is how these two dudes got their faces on this Operation Drawdown board due to their connection with the 60s. Now, the next person that's also in custody on this indictment is, now he seems to be one of these criminal associates of the cities that I spoke on. They're not putting him down as a full-fledged member, but he also went down for the same thing as Grimsky and Z. Distribution of methamphetamine, carrying a firearm during and in relation to, and possessing a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime. I think the only thing working for this dude is he wasn't a felon in possession of a gun. But on March 11, 2021, they got him presumably on wiretap, knowingly and intentionally distributing at least 50 grams, which came out to be 423 grams of meth. Now, the indictment doesn't allege that he was dealing with a confidential informant or a confidential witness in this case. So again, I have to stress that the wiretap and the hundreds of hours of conversations that they have is going to play a pivotal role in pushing these guys towards a plea deal when they see exactly how much evidence they have against them. April 1st, 2021 looked just like March 11, 2021, where they got this dude selling 435 grams of methamphetamine. Both of those situations were in LA County. And on the April 1st incident, it's alleged that he possessed a firearm while he was selling that work to somebody. They have him again on April 27th, selling 443 grams of meth. So as you can see, they've really been building this case for a long time. Again, they started watching Big U February of 2021, but they already had these wiretaps set up on these dudes back in 2020. And I'm gonna say, if Big U didn't allegedly kill Rayshawn Williams, this would be a pretty uneventful indictment for the feds. They'd have Brick Baby, but it wouldn't be this big.
Nothing else to go for.
Now, the next person that went down on this case was Ron Antoine Britton, aka Ronnie Mac. The feds are alleging that he was possessing with intent to distribute cocaine. And like many other people in this indictment, he was possession of a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime, and also a felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition. So we have Ronnie Mac on January 31st, 2024, allegedly intentionally possessing with the intent to distribute cocaine. Now, it doesn't say he sold it to anybody, so more than likely, he was caught with it. And he was probably somebody that also participated in conversations on the wiretap, so they glued him into this federal indictment. But even if he wasn't, being a member of the 60s and being a felon in possession of this firearm, they was going to throw him in there anyway, because they caught him with the gun when they caught him with the powder. Now, he had multiple firearms. He had a Glock 26 and another Ruger 9mm when he went down. Now, just like Brick Baby, they charging him with the ammunition as well. He had over 30 rounds of 9mm ammo while being a felon. Now, this dude right here, this is a fraudulent dude right here.
Yes.
I don't know the details of this situation, but Ronnie Mac
Why
was
he
previously
fraudulent?
convicted of having sexual intercourse with a minor and 2 counts of false imprisonment, as well as an attempted possession of a controlled substance. I don't know what an attempt in the possession is, you know what I'm saying? But the minor charge, what was he even doing in this mix anyway? Maybe that's why he's on an indictment on his own. But yeah, Ronnie Mac on some foul shit. Now, the next 2 dudes that we saw also go down on this indictment are Denavian Hughes and Lamont Green. Now, both of them had the same charge, but they are charged separately on their own individual indictments. And that charge is the same as probably 80% of everybody that was outside of the RICO, a felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition. Now, Denavian Hughes was found to have 2 9mm pistols and 20 rounds of 9mm ammunition on May 9th, 2023. Now, it's alleged that he knowingly possessed these firearms, despite the fact of previously being convicted of forgery in 2001, possession with intent to distribute a controlled substance in 2008, and the unauthorized use of personal identifying information in 2008. And on January 31st, 2024, Lamont Green was in possession of a .38 revolver. And for some reason, he had hundreds of rounds of different types of ammunition, not just the .38. But he had previously been convicted of possession of a controlled substance in 95, second-degree burglary in 97, and assault with a semi-automatic firearm in 2000. So he's seemingly been out of trouble for the last 25 years. But they got him going down for affecting interstate and foreign commerce. Now, there is an individual on this case Tion Devon Jones, aka Blueface.
I want to take a second. Shout out, sponsor. Candy Carnivals. Fago, new drop. Go mess with them. Fago cream soda. Tastes just like cream soda. Okay. That's why I got the 7. I had to go get me a Fago. It's not here for the video. I drink it before I got home. Candy Carnival. A shot till you drop. Boom.
Face, who seemingly has only went down for a violation based on a federal charge that he caught in 2009 on a conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance and possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine. Now, he also had a violation in 2019. So the details surrounding his current situation and being a part of Operation Drawdown is somewhat mysterious at this moment. But 2 dudes on this case are 2 people that I would put my money on that are going to end up snitching. We got the starter everybody's been paying attention to, Fuck Juan and Brian Perez Mejia. Those 2 dudes now, I don't want to necessarily put a jacket on nobody, but everybody else other than Jaquan Lee Smith, JJ, has some paperwork. Now, I don't know where Fuck Juan's paperwork is or Brian Mejia, but it's something about these 2 dudes that's rubbing me the wrong way, man. They not fitting in. So I wouldn't be surprised if these 2 dudes, if anybody takes this to trial, you may see one or both of these individuals.
They look like
I'm gonna just put my money
like
on that.
Type niggas.
Jaquan Lee Smith, he's also a mysterious character in this situation. I'm not gonna say anybody is snitching other than the confidential informants that we know exist without name right now. But Jaquan Smith is also somebody that's mysterious in this case, man. But we have to break down everybody else that was a part of this indictment because, like I said, from the outside looking in, it looks like everybody's tied to Big U Enterprises, and that's not the case. Everybody has a common denominator in them neighborhood rolling 60s, man. But this rap news, street politics, y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, man. We coming with some more dope content.
Shit crazy right now. It's crazy. I came from the walls, so I'd be like, free the guys. Just free everybody, man. No, nobody wish that shit on nobody, but realistic view, that shit wicked. That's all I can say. That shit just wicked. Like, I don't know. I think niggas should just stay true to their heart, nigga. Like, I stay true to that. You see what's back there? Shout out. I think I'm on the wrong way. Yeah. See, kind of stupid. Shout out my boy, Mike. You feel me? Been skating my whole life. You feel me? This matter of fact, I'm gonna shout them out too. Shout out Cecilia Skateboards. But I'm saying to say that stay true to what you do, you feel me? Cause it ain't no color lines, you feel me? Niggas gonna go skate everywhere and have fun. And the zone they say everybody grow up and die out of, you feel me? It's just what you do out this motherfucker, you feel me? That's all I got to say to the kids and shit, man. Chase your dreams, your aspirations. Don't get caught up in some bullshit you don't even want to be in, you feel me? And, but like, comment, subscribe. I'm getting back to trying to post every other day. I'm busy, bills, family, events, all type of shit. But I'm post more, drop more. Shout out, again, Candy Carnivals, Cecilia. You feel me? The Candy Carnivals were short for the cherry heads and the Fago cream soda flavors. They hit. Gotta go mess with them, man. At Candy Carnivals on Instagram. Spelled just like this. Walk it, walk it, walk it, walk it, walk it, walk it, walk it. You feel me? But I'll see y'all next time on the back end. And don't get caught. Watch your ass.